Everybody, it's Kyle Daniels with Vista Sotheby's International Realty bringing you the Hill Report for Wednesday, October 18th. Geez, again, everything, time flies here. Anyways, normally come to you on Tuesday. Just ran out of time yesterday afternoon after looking at some properties. But yeah, some really interesting things going on in the market. And before I get into the numbers, I want to point out something I read that talked about the general economy, and that is that at the consumer level, we're seeing the high end, people are still spending money, they're buying cars, the big ticket items are still happening, that luxury buyer still out there. The mid-range, when we look at that middle class, we're seeing people adjust downward in what they purchase and not necessarily buying the same things or even maybe a little bit less of what they buy. Where at the lower end, sort of, I'll call them the young consumer or somebody that doesn't have as much money or liquidity, they're pulling back on what they're purchasing. And the housing market is showing very similar patterns right now. We're seeing a lot of stuff happen at the luxury level. We just saw one house on Via Solano that's been a bit of a talk in Valmonte. We just saw sell, or go into escrow. I'm not sure the number, but it was listed at 5.3 million. Understanding is it still had some work to be done to finish all the details, but it was new construction by a reputable builder and nice big lot with a pool. So kind of an unusual property, but we haven't seen anything near that price on Solano. We've seen a few things in that price range throughout Valmonte, but typically those have been on half-acre lots or even larger homes. So this 3,800 square foot home, brand new construction, going into escrow with a 5 to start the number is very intriguing. And my understanding is it's somebody that's returning to the neighborhood that had been away for a while. But when you see other properties sit on the market and not, the price keeps coming down, we're not seeing the movement. There's one on Valmonte Plaza that just keeps dropping. And it's a great value if you just look at, house and price. But that's getting to that range where the buyer's a little more sensitive, say, to interest rates or just the rest of the economy. And again, that parallels the larger economy and what's happening. So that luxury market still has a lot of oomph and a lot of things happening. Overall, though, Palos Verdes is a luxury market, and we're seeing that when we look at the numbers. So again, we'll jump into the numbers this week. Thanks for my little intro there. And if you're paying attention, I hope that was valuable. But as far as closed sales, we saw 16 closed sales. Now, again, I like to see, where that list price to close price. And we saw a huge discrepancy this week. When you look at the median list price, 2.3 million, the close price was 2.75. Now, I will take some credit for a sale that closed over 400,000 over list, but there were a few of those this past week. So again, there's some strength in the market. We're still seeing a decent balance of those that are selling over versus those that are selling below the list price. But when you see those numbers, that's a big jump. At the average, it's even higher. It's like a $700,000 jump. Now, when we look at new listings, we saw 23. So we've got an uptick in new inventory. That brings the total inventory on the peninsula to 140, which I think is about a high water mark for the year. But we're at a $2.5 million median price. So it's a lot. Things have been on the market for 39 days. That includes some stuff that's been sitting for almost a year or longer, and then the new stuff that just came out. We look at new escrows, though. It dropped off this week. We only had 9, which is a significant drop from our 19 last week. So less than half. And that was coming after 24 days on the market, and 4 of those had price reductions before going into escrow. So we are seeing that seller adjustment. The price the home goes into escrow. Now, price drops, we saw 11. Those were coming after a little over a month on the market. We saw 1 thing fall out of escrow and go back on the market, and then we saw 3 things just taken off the market altogether. But we are seeing that little pickup of inventory, which is kind of unusual. Normally, if we look at a chart, inventory is dropping at this time of year. So we do have some people still saying, hey, let's sell. And overall, when you look at inventory compared to buyer demand, and it kind of works out to what we call, months supply, we're still under 3 months supply. It's creeping up a little bit higher, getting a little bit closer to a balanced market where it's not really a seller's market or a buyer's market. But I'd say as of right now, the sellers still have a slight advantage, especially if you're selling something that's newer or move-in ready in a great location or high demand location. We're seeing multiple offers continue. My 3804 via Palomino, I'll do a little separate post on that. But overall, again, we saw close over 400,000 because that street is so popular, that location. And I like to think we did a good job presenting it, but still 400,000 over shows that there's some buyers with money out there that are willing to pay for the right property. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please reach out, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.